Project Sapient is a podcast meant to engage our brothers and sisters in the law enforcement and military communities in conversations that we all know we need to have. All opinions you'll hear are our own, are protected by our First Amendment of the United States Constitution, and in no way reflect or are meant to reflect the opinion of any specific agency, officer, or service member. Some opinions may be controversial. Listener discretion is advised. Enjoy. Hey guys, welcome. Project Sapient. It's Peter and
Iman.
This has been awesome, you guys. This is what, our fifth or our fourth?
Fifth.
This is our fifth episode. The feedback we're getting is amazing. We have an awesome show lined up tonight. We have a surprise mystery guest coming on in a little bit. Tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about the oath.
Yes.
The Oath, a warrior's core belief. And it's an article that Iman has written, again, for Havoc Journal. And 1,000 times we're going to say thank you to Havoc Journal.
Absolutely.
For everything that they're doing for us.
Yeah.
They have a bunch of great writers. Iman is one of them. And Iman had written this article in June 17th of 2020. And it's all about the oath. We know what the oath is. We've all taken it.
Yep.
Military has taken it twice, basically in the military and in the law enforcement field.
Yeah.
So why don't you go ahead and start telling me about the oath, Iman?
Yeah. Well, first, I'm not a great writer. I usually black out.
You're a great writer.
I black out and somehow an article's formed and I just push send and it goes somewhere.
Magic.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how I put words together. So.
Well, you know what? Guys, another disclosure. We're drinking again. So I don't know if you liked last week's episode, but this time it's just a couple of beers.
Yeah.
Iman has a pretty cool beer mug from Tombstone, Arizona.
Yeah. It actually says on it, big ass beer. You can literally, you can put 2 cans, 2 bottles, whatever, fit in it. I got it from, if anyone's been out there, Big Nose Kate's Saloon in Tombstone, Arizona. Real cool place.
Was it a legit saloon?
Yeah, legit.
Cowboys and shit?
That's where Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, all those characters used to drink at. So
I'm your Huckleberry.
yeah, exactly. All right, so the oath. Let's get through.
Talk to me.
So the oath. Basically, it's a warrior's core belief that I believe it is, and it should be.
Of course it is.
It should be everybody's core belief in reality, not just soldiers, Marines, cops. Anybody that feels when the national anthem is being sung, I get goosebumps every time, no matter what.
Yeah, I do too.
No matter what, I always get it, whether I watch it on TV or I'm at a sporting event or I'm in formation, whatever, national anthem's played, I get goosebumps. And the oath that I did, in the military is I'll say it that way, you guys have an idea of if those who haven't served or haven't heard the oath, it goes by I, and then you state your name, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me, according to the regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice, so help me God. That is the warrior's oath, the soldier's oath. And again, I don't want to mistaken the demonized word of warrior, the vilified word of warrior. Okay, this is again warrior mindset.
But you just said the oath, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a warrior's oath.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are people forgetting the oath?
Oh, I think so these days. I think so.
Like a lot of vets that are coming back, are they forgetting the oath?
Oh no, that oath is with us till the day we die.
So it's in your blood.
Yeah.
It's in your DNA.
Yeah.
It's changed your life completely. So the moment that you uttered those couple hundred words, whatever it was, it changed your life completely.
Absolutely.
And it did for me in law enforcement too. And I mean, we'll get to that later, but it's powerful, man.
It is.
It's powerful. And I was listening to somebody earlier. I forget, it was a general on like Fox News or something like that. And it was a video from Veterans Day. And he was making some kind of dedication and all that. And he said, the one thing that people need to understand is that we in the military, we say our oath. We don't proclaim our oath or our allegiance to a president. No. We don't proclaim our allegiance to a country. No. We proclaim it to the United States Constitution.
Yeah.
And it, like, I've had my oath and I hold it dear to my head, to my heart. And I'm like, holy shit, that's the first time I realized that.
Yep.
Like, it's not to the country. It's not to anything but the Constitution.
Exactly.
And that's how powerful that document is.
Exactly. I mean, to me, the oath, no matter who is in power,
right?
The oath, it doesn't matter to the oath. The oath is to that United States Constitution and to the people of the United States of America, not the politicians.
Right.
You know,
well, that's one of the things, and we're going to talk about it with our guest pretty soon, is I think a lot of the politicians out there are forgetting that.
Oh, I think they proclaim it. They just say it
for entertainment purposes,
for show.
Yeah.
Without really thinking. Now, I'm not saying all of them, but some of them.
Of course.
Some of them have that oath that do not take it near and dear to their hearts, and you can tell which politicians are doing that. You can tell which ones that really spit on the oath to me.
Right.
So,
I mean, it's just, it's an all powerful oath, man. Like even the last sentence, and so help me God.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you, in the military, was this oath always the same?
Yeah. It's
from like 1775 when the Army...
As long as I've been in, it hasn't changed. I know, like, my father-in-law, Vietnam War.
Same thing.
Or same thing. I don't think it's ever really changed.
No kidding.
It's kind of stayed the same. But I mean, here's the thing. As a warrior, the oath represented who I was when I swore it, right? Who I was... not just as an American, but as a human being.
Right.
Some people are born with a moral compass. Most need religion or law. So to me, and most guys that I know, we never needed a law to tell us right from wrong.
Right.
We just know. Most of us are ingrained with that ability to already have that moral compass where we could, we see someone falling down, we'll help that person up.
Well, when you think about it, right, when you look at all of our laws, and there's a lot of old ones and whatnot, but when you look at a lot of our laws, they were based around morality.
Yeah.
That moral compass.
Mm-hmm.
And the framers of the Constitution in this country, basically, they wanted to maintain that order of morality.
Yes.
And that's where all of our laws started coming from. And if you look at some of the old wording of, like, even Massachusetts, the MGLs and stuff, you're like, man, this is like old wording.
Oh, old English.
Old English type of stuff. But it was very relevant. I mean, you have the stupid laws like you can't, like, walk your cow on the commons on a Sunday. that are still out there.
Yeah, that cracks me up.
Right. But
you know what? Maybe we should grab a cow and walk it along the commons. See what
Violate. Violate. Let's see if somebody with a warrior mindset wants to put us away.
I know. Fight us.
There was another one that I read the other day that's kind of pertinent to what we have going on. It was you can't spit. Spitting was actually a crime in Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah.
And it came from the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, that makes sense. Because if you didn't put the two together, you'd be like, wow, that's really stupid.
Yeah.
Like, but this specifically said you can't spit in public. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But it came from pandemic. And I mean, pandemic's not a morality type of thing. But again, it was the intention of law and order, of keeping good morals, of keeping good family. That's where all these laws came from. And that's where that oath comes from.
Yes. Yep. And the oath, again, the oath is a powerful thing to say, a powerful, I shouldn't even say thing. It's an idea, actually. Yeah. It's a powerful idea. I'll go with that. To say and to truly believe in your heart that that's the warrior's oath. That's the oath that we all take when we raise our right hand.
Yep. In front of a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. In front of
under God.
Of the world. Yeah, under God, in front of the American public.
And your brothers and sisters, too.
Exactly. To the guy or girl to my left and right, I'm swearing that oath to them, too, that I will sacrifice myself for them.
It's funny, like you're reading your article here, and I've read it obviously a couple of times. We've actually mentioned this story before. Do you want to tell the Spartan story again?
Oh yeah. So the Spartan story is an old man was looking for a seat at the Olympic Games. The crowd was clearly annoyed by the old man until a Spartan offered his seat. The crowd applauded the old man, and he turned to them and said, "All Greeks know what is right, but only Spartans do it."
Yeah.
I mean, it's
true.
Yeah, I mean, put it in modern day times. I'm sure. I mean, a majority, 99.9% people know the right thing to do.
It's sad though when you realize like how many. I just heard that story from you, and I thought of probably 15, 20 things in my life where I was like, why didn't that person get up for the old lady?
Yeah.
Why didn't they hold a door? Why didn't they, when somebody dropped some money? Why didn't you know what I mean? Like, it's not an evil thing because these things aren't like evil. They're not inherently bad. Like the person's not malicious.
Yeah.
It's almost an apathy.
Yeah.
For their fellow human being, and they don't care.
No. But to me, like like I've talked before, small things compound to big things, right?
Yeah.
I mean, eventually that morality code, whatever that person has in them, it amplifies when shit goes south. Amplifies even more.
You're absolutely right.
So that's the thing with us as cops and military men and all that. We know that, again, we know what's right. We'll do it.
Right.
Versus watching I remember this a while back when I was working for the transit system as a cop. I saw this blind guy. Usually the blind are pretty good navigating around their world because they've practiced, they've learned and everything. Yep. And this blind guy, whether he took a left or right, but missed a step and got himself stuck between a gate and I want to say like a hallway. It was kind of weird. He messed himself up somehow, and I got a knock. Sorry guys, that was the pop filter, but he somehow got himself entangled in this gate and could he was kind of walking in circles, almost it looked like.
Yeah.
So now this is the transit system. Thousands. Of people.
Yep.
All right. Now, yes, I'm a cop in uniform, but what do I do? Just because I have a uniform, yeah, sure, I go and act. But to me, I wasn't a cop in uniform. I was a fellow human,
right,
helping this poor blind guy, out of that situation to redirect him to where he should go, and even got him on the right trolley that he wanted to be on. But he was also clearly embarrassed because that must have been the first time that's happened to him, or second time, where he felt vulnerable.
Right.
They don't want to feel that, from my understanding.
But why? I mean, why is it incumbent upon you as a police officer to do these things? Why didn't the 1,000 other people that were there?
Oh, well, it to me, it's that sheep mentality.
Yes.
It's like the herd, the moving herd.
Yep.
Just blinders on and just keep walking. Don't pay any attention to somebody. I mean, we see it all the time. We hear about it all the time as cops. This poor victim gets beaten up by some dirtbag.
Yep.
And what do we get? Oh, we'll get 1,000 videos of it because everyone's sitting there watching this poor person get, manhandled or whatever it might be. And we have to come and fix that. And
everybody else is standing around videotaping the thing.
Exactly. I mean, how many times does that happen? I mean, there have been times I've had to go to 911 calls for a large fight. People are fighting, all that stuff. But it turns out when I get there, there's nothing there. Usually what happens is the person decided to call 20 minutes later. They saw it and they're like, let's
let it play out.
Yeah, let me think about it. Maybe I'll call, maybe I won't. And then they get home and then they're like, yeah, maybe I should call.
Yeah.
And it was already long over, so.
There's almost a little savagery going on in somebody like that. You know what I mean? Like, I used to think that they would probably think about it later on and feel bad about it. But thinking in hindsight right now, they probably don't. Because if they did, they'd correct their actions, right? So they don't. They don't give a shit.
Again, people without that moral compass and the understanding an oath and what the oath actually is, as cops, we respond to all kinds of calls. Respond. That's the thing. That's not being the proactive ones. Now I'm talking about people that call us for help for anything. I mean, how many times have you gone to a call where you get the suspicious looking guy or girl or whatever, and you get there and it's a minority, and it turns out it was more of a racial thing,
right?
And that person that called the 911 is more or less racist and wants to use the police to project their racism on that minority. Now, us as cops, we show up, we have no idea why we're there. Well, we have an idea, suspicious. All right, why is this person suspicious? So we do our investigative stop.
Right.
Hey, what are you doing? What's going on? 9 times out of 10, you just have a conversation. It's all good. Nothing. Right. They're not doing anything. And that right there is part of. Again, we talked during the intro about these types of things that have been going on within law enforcement. I mean, there's a huge factor right there where it's civilians' own racism, and they use the police to project it. Absolutely. And again, the general public, whether they want to see it or not, or are ignorant to it. I mean, me as a minority myself, I go to these calls and I see it. It's like, why am I here? Like, I'll never, like I remember once a while back, someone called 911 because they saw ISIS-y looking people walking out of the Stop and Shop and going across the street. Now, I don't know what an ISIS-y person looks like. I mean, you see it on the news and everything.
Truth be told, I've people think that I am ISIS-y looking.
Well, you got the beard. Well, it seems also all of a sudden anyone with a beard is all of a sudden ISIS-y looking. Yeah. But anyway, so they say ISIS-y, and I remember my colleague, he responds to that call, and he goes over the radio kind of with a chuckle and says, they are just monks walking across the street to the church.
Monks.
Then
they said ISIS-y.
Yeah, ISIS-y looking people.
My God. Like, you couldn't be further from ISIS.
Exactly. I mean, it's just like, you can't make this stuff up.
Like, people can make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
He might look something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But it was a monk.
It was monks. It was like 3 or 4 monks walking, using the crosswalk, going across to the church right across from the Stop and Shop. And I was like, oh my God.
The guy was probably holding a cross, too.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh my God, really? And again, though, that is one of those things. So going back to the oath, we know our oath. Our oath is to protect, defend the U.S. Constitution, to protect, defend the American citizen,
right?
All right? Or not just American, humans as a whole.
Yep.
That's our job. You are within our borders. We're going to do everything we can to protect you, and that's that. But when other people project their biases, their racism, their discrimination, whatever you want to call it, onto us, it really hurts what we believe as the oath, and it hurts the person that we're dealing with.
Of course it does. Do you think there's a bit of ignorance instead of stupidity? Like, they just don't know.
I'd say both.
Like, they've grown up in a bubble.
Yeah.
They have no idea.
No.
I think there's a little bit of ignorance there.
Yeah.
Why don't we do this? Why don't I read the Mass General Law, the oath from Mass General Law for police officers?
Yeah, go right.
And then we'll call my buddy Gru.
Yeah, go right ahead.
And a quick thing about Gru, he's a civilian, and we want to get a perspective from him about the oath. I've known him for a very long time. He's an extraordinary gentleman. He's a beast. He's a beast in life. He's a big dude. He's a strong dude. Great financial guy. Like, we're not going to disclose his full name and everything, but just know, guys, that he's a civvy, and he's going to give us some true opinions. We haven't really prepped him or anything like that. No. We just told him that we're going to call him. So, excuse me. The first thing, Mass General Law, Chapter 33, Section 24. This is the oath that I took a long time ago, which is weird reading it. I do solemnly swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and will support the Constitution thereof and the Constitution of the United States, that I will obey the lawful orders of all my superior officers, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all of the duties incumbent on me as a police officer, according to the best of my ability and understanding. agreeably to the rules and regulations of the Constitution and the laws of the Commonwealth and the United States. So help me God. And again, they're different, but they're similar.
Yes.
They're very similar.
So actually, I want to kind of, this is kind of improper right now, just thinking about the policeman oath. A very famous oath, if you want to call it, is Sir Robert Peele.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean, how old is that?
1800s?
1800s?
Yeah.
And I mean, he's known around law enforcement as the father of law enforcement, modern day law enforcement. And you're talking, this is in the 1800s. So Sir Robert Peele, he was born in 1788.
Jesus.
That year. So February 5th, 1788, died July 2nd, 1850. So one of the things that really hit home with me every time I read it is the public are the police and the police are the public.
Yep.
I mean, that's a huge one. But I'm going to go over, so it's 9 policing principles that he wrote. To prevent crime and so this is the first one. To prevent crime and disorder as an alternative to their repression by military force and severity of legal punishment.
Yep.
To recognize always that the power of the police to fulfill their functions and duties is dependent on public approval of their existence, actions, and behavior, and on their ability to secure and maintain public respect.
Mm-hmm.
To recognize always that to secure and maintain the respect and approval of the public means also the securing of the willing cooperation of the public in the task of securing observance of laws. To recognize always that the extent to which the cooperation of the public can be secured diminishes proportionately the necessity of the use of physical force and compulsion for achieving police objectives. I mean, that's powerful right there.
It's brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, here's number 5. To seek and preserve public favor, not by pandering to public opinion, right? But to constantly demonstrating absolute impartial service to the law in complete independence of policy and without regard to the justice or injustice of the substance of individual laws by ready offering of individual service and friendship to all members of the public without regard to their wealth, social standing, be ready to exercise of courtesy and friendly good humor, which is, he puts good humor,
Yeah.
and by ready offering of individual sacrifice in protecting and preserving life. I mean, public opinion, right?
Yeah, it's huge.
It's huge these days. It's unbelievable.
He's almost prophetic.
Yeah, exactly. Now, number 6, to use physical force only when the exercise of persuasion, advice, and warning is found to be insufficient to obtain public cooperation to an extent necessary to secure observance of law or to restore order, and to use only minimal degree of physical force which is necessary on any particular occasion for achieving a police objective. I mean,
These things could have been written 5 days ago.
Exactly. I mean, this is back in the 1800s. These were written. So number 8, number 7, to maintain at all times a relationship with the public that gives reality to the historic tradition that the police are the public and that the public are the police.
Yep.
The police being only members of the public who are paid to give full-time attention to duties which are incumbent on every citizen in the interests of community welfare and existence. I mean, basically saying community and police work together.
Absolutely.
Because the police are part of the community, essentially. So number 8, to recognize always the need for strict adherence to police executive functions and to refrain from even seeming to usurp the powers of the judiciary of avenging individuals or the state and of authoritatively judging guilt and punishing the guilty. To recognize always that the test of police efficiency is the absence of crime and disorder and not the visible evidence of police action in dealing with them. I mean, again, these could have been written yesterday.
The man, and think about it, right? I don't think there's a single cop that's gone and that served and retired that hasn't gone through those principles.
Yeah.
Like, and if you follow those principles, everything's going to be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Why don't we get Gru? I just gave up his name. Why don't we get him on the line? See if we can edit that out later.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Oh boy. All right, we're calling him right now, guys.
Hello.
Gru.
Yo, Pete.
It's Pete and Iman.
Hey, what's up, Gru?
How you doing, Iman?
Good, man.
Hey, we're not bothering you, are we?
No, not at all. I'm sitting outside. It's 67 degrees outside.
Don't tell me that. I hate you, dude.
I know.
67. It's like, what, 32 here?
Yeah.
There's snow on the ground.
Yeah.
It's fucking gross.
It's the miserable New England winter.
Yeah, I don't miss it, guys. I don't miss the weather. I don't miss the sun going down at 4.
Oh no, it goes down at like 1:30 now.
Yeah, it's cloudy out. It's like noon. So Pete, I haven't talked to you forever, man. What's going on?
I know, man. It's been a long time. So everybody listening, Gru and I have been friends for a very, very long time. We're talking probably what, 18 years?
Yeah.
We've been friends
long time, man.
18 years.
I wanted to tell you one of my biggest, obviously if I could have been there, I would have, but one of my regrets in life is I didn't get to see you get sworn in, man.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, for real. I think of that every once in a while. I was traveling. I had I had a company I was trying to build, and I think I was in Arizona or California or something like that. And your cousin let me know you're getting sworn in.
Yeah,
I couldn't put it together though, but.
Oh my God, man. You know what's funny about that?
What's that?
We're talking tonight about one of the articles that Iman had written, and it's called The Oath.
Deals?
The Oath. Yeah, the oath that we give.
Yeah.
His article is The Oath, a Warrior's Core Belief. And we're talking about the oath that Iman gave in the military and the police, and then the oath that I gave in the police. And it's so funny that you mentioned that, dude. And that's unbelievable.
Yeah, no, I mean, the oath is something that a lot of people don't really appreciate how many of us take it seriously, even people that haven't served, Right. I mean, I be honest with you, I tried to get into the military. I couldn't get into the military because my eyesight is not corrected to 20/40. I tried 1988. I tried 3 different states, 3 different recruiters to get in, and I could not get in.
What? That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's drive, man. You wanted to serve your country, right? But like thinking about it, thinking about it, you're a patriot. But before we even started recording, I told Iman that, this guy hasn't served in the military. He's not a police officer, but he's the ultimate patriot.
Thanks, Pete. It means a lot coming from you.
And no, it's really true. And that's why I said, we're going to talk about the oath tonight. I want to get Gru on the phone, and I want to ask him, because he's a civilian and we have a lot of civilian listeners. I want to ask him what he thinks is going with everything going on in the country these days. Do you think the politicians, not just so much the police officers in the military, because even the politicians are sworn in, right?
Yeah. Right.
Do you think that they're losing the concept of the oath that they've taken?
Well, there's no repercussions for them.
Good point.
Good point.
There's 0 repercussions for them for when they commit tax evasion, when they commit sexual assault, when they
actually get
lie.
protected from those things.
Yeah. I mean, there's 0 repercussions, and there's a very powerful force that's been building for the past, I don't know, probably since the mid '80s. I mean, before that, I think communism and socialism has been trying to get into this country for a while, and now it's entrenched, as we've seen. But yeah, I mean, there's no repercussions for politicians.
I think the whole communism and socialism is becoming, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older and I'm getting a little bit wiser. I'm not a very wise person, but I'm noticing that it's starting to creep in a lot more now.
Yeah, you can't deny it anymore. I mean, we've been called conspiracy theorists for the past 15 years. But,
right.
They've shown it. I mean, you have the freedom of speech is gone. I mean, there's there's outright censorship now in the new age of media. And there's people deciding what people hear and what they do not hear, because the traditional way of the masses learning about stuff through the newspapers no longer exists. But there's a lot of reasons why it's happened. I think, as far as being able to creep in, but I think probably one of the final straw, I guess you could say, was when the greatest generation was no longer in power.
Yeah.
And they got out of power probably early 90s when you saw Bush lose to Clinton. And that was it. And it's gone downhill ever since then.
So, Gru, one of the things that we were talking about was the power of the oath, right? And so when I'm admitted in the military and when I did it in the police department, it changed my life, right? Because I was swearing an oath to my country, to my community, and it didn't matter what I felt like. And before we got you on the phone, I had actually read off the Massachusetts general law about it, and talking about the rules and regulations of the Constitution and the Commonwealth, and to use my abilities impartially. What do you think is happening amongst the police community, amongst the military community, from your outside perspective? Do you think that there's more guys like Iman that are upholding the oath, or do you think guys are kind of letting it crumble away?
I think it's pretty complicated. I mean, you have a situation where, just as a whole, in the population, 1% of the population are psychopaths. And the people that are psychopaths are 25% of convicted felons in prison right now are psychopaths.
Right.
25%. A lot of people don't realize that. I'm talking about people that don't take the time to read and understand what the police are up against, how dangerous their job is every day, is that they're dealing with psychopaths 75% of the time. 25% of the time. Do
you think it's just that they have their head in the hole?
Who's they? The general population?
The public.
Oh, yeah. They don't know anything. They don't even teach U.S. history anymore. I'm 50 years old, 51 now. And I was taught by the greatest generation. My fourth grade elementary school teacher, Mrs. Mullen, was a Holocaust survivor.
Jesus.
Wow. She told me about what socialists do. And that's why when, just from history, and I've always been a World War II buff and just a history buff, and seeing, President Trump be called a socialist. Yeah, that's a little contradictory as far as what it is, because socialists take away your guns, take away your freedom of speech, they censor you. That hasn't happened ever.
But we're trending on a path to that, I think.
Yeah, the path is it's fully established. They're out. They're not hiding anymore. They hate God. They hate anything to do with our American way of life. It's just evident now. You can't deny it anymore.
What I call that, Gru, is kind of on a philosophical side. I call it the devil has convinced the world that he doesn't exist. Yeah. That's what's going on now.
Yeah.
Where the good guys are now the bad guys and the bad guys are now the good guys. Since when has that happened?
Well, they've been planning it since the late 60s. This all started from Russia, trying to weaken us, trying to do everything they can. This was like a little offshoot as far as what they've done, the way they sprinkled communism throughout the planet and funded it. And it's through unfettered immigration, just felonious lawsuits, what have you. They've weakened our republic severely now.
I've actually read.
I don't know.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't think it's even severely now. I think it's obvious now. The path is it's happening. It's happened.
Yeah.
Is it scary? Because to me, like when I see a lot of these things going on, and you and I talk almost every day about these things, right? It's almost scary to me that people aren't realizing what the fuck is really going on out there.
Well, you have 40% of them getting their news from socialists.
Yeah, exactly.
You mean memes?
It's not their fault. It's not their fault. It's the fringe that are controlling, that have always controlled both sides. We live in a two-party, police state, basically. where, police in a negative connotation, but we have, like I said, 40% of the population not understanding. I mean, to be honest with you guys, I used to be a Democrat. I was a JFK Democrat.
I know that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't vote for a Republican until 2012, until I realized what was going on. And I awoke back then. I was like, holy smokes, these people hate America. They really do. They just, it's one thing to say, we all make mistakes in life. And I think that's, for me to I'm not trying to downplay the bad that our country's done.
Right.
Man, we've done great stuff. And we are as good as it gets.
Absolutely.
That's ever been created.
Mhm.
I mean, we're the best nation that's ever created. And we're not perfect. We're always striving to get better. And, you look at from the fact that the reason our country is so strong is because we use our entire population. We don't just say, okay, if you're this color, this religion, you get to be successful. It doesn't matter. That's what the oath is. I mean, that's the lady holding the blind lady holding the scales of justice. It's everything's equal.
Let me give you, Gru, let me give you a little background, because I haven't told you about Iman. So Iman, he's a police officer. We never talk about where we work exactly for a little bit of operational security. But Iman came from a genocidal country, went to a war-torn country.
Yeah.
And came here when he was 8?
8 years old. Yep. And then I went back to war.
And then he went back.
Are you from Croatia?
No, I'm from so I was born in Monrovia, Liberia, and the kind of I think it was mid to late 80s, a wonderful man by the name of Charles Taylor went to Liberia and decided to start a coup, and we had to escape from there. And my family's from Lebanon, so we went to Lebanon, and the civil war is still happening there. And eventually we made our way to the U.S.
Nice.
So, Gru, imagine a kid that's 8 or 9 years old coming here and being introduced into the American way, and then deciding on his own that he's going to swear that oath, that allegiance, and then put his life on the line.
Some of the best Americans are immigrants. People don't realize that. You have people down where I'm from Cuba, that know firsthand how lucky they are and what socialism is, and they're just the best, most patriotic Americans. So
isn't that amazing?
That's awesome.
I mean, isn't that amazing that and here's another thing I think, Pete, I never told you. So when I went to war, I still had my green card. I wasn't a full citizen yet. No, I wasn't. So the reason why I got fast-tracked to a citizenship was because of President Bush. He said that he made law and made a policy that anyone serving in the U.S. Armed Forces who has a green card is to be immediately become a U.S. citizen.
That's kind of more than fair.
Yeah, so and I wasn't just the only one in my unit. There were several of us that were green card holders, and to this day, I see them, on social media. I see some of those guys, and they're all cops, firefighters. They're all oath takers, and that's just, and again, like Pete said, they're some of the most patriotic people I've ever met, and I always joke how spoiled the American public is with the way they think. And yes, we have the freedoms for all these thoughts and speech and what have you. And they don't realize when censorship actually happens, what it will look like. Like the censorship on social media and that crap, it's like minor compared to the actual censorship when you walk out on the streets and you get scooped up by, let's say in Saudi Arabia, the religious police because you said something or you looked at someone or something happened.
And you get disappeared.
Right.
Do you think, Gru, so Iman's got the military background and the police background, and me in the law enforcement background, and you obviously know what I've done in my career. I have a little bit of a skewed perception on these things. I want to ask you, do you think that that's coming here?
Yeah.
You really do?
Can't deny it anymore, guys. It's already here, and it'll be. I don't know. I mean, the last thing I want to do is suit up when I'm 60. But I will. I'm ready.
Listen, you and the millions of veterans that are out there.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I tell Pete that all the time. Is the reason I sleep good at night is because I know that there's oath takers and that the mill is still the good guys. You guys still get it, and that's why I'm able to sleep at night.
Well, dude, listen.
Because I would be up all the time worrying. It's like screaming into a hurricane that people just don't hear you or see you what's going on. And one thing that you just touched upon is as far as the kids nowadays, you got to remember, we can't deny this anymore, guys. This has been planned, multi-generational, to take over this country. This is a long coup that's been going on, and they've taken God and they've taken our history out of our schools.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right.
And the people that are teaching our kids are not what are they may be really good teachers, they may be really caring people, but they don't get the big picture as far as that this is the last place. This is the only shining city on the planet.
Yeah.
And we are the light keepers. There's no other place. There's the Saudi Arabias, there's the Moscows, there's the Chinas. I can ramble on forever.
No, dude, you make great points, Crew. You definitely make great points, and it's great hearing it from you. And look, we really appreciate your perspective on it. And listen, just you've listened to some of the podcasts. We're always going to be there. I even told Iman in the last episode that, with this whole defund the police bullshit, if the day ever comes where we do get defunded, I'm still showing up in uniform. And I'm sure Iman would probably do the same thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, no. You'll have citizens like myself taking to the streets too.
Absolutely.
We're not gonna, we're never gonna. I would never ever.
We can't let
surrender. I'm not going to surrender.
Exactly. We can't let this beautiful work of art that we've built, or our forefathers built here, right, and we've maintained. We can't let it be taken away from us.
Well, you bring up that point. One of the things I'd like to see, and there's a lot of that the police community in the United States is really galvanized. They're able to see what's going on. Probably the most in their entire life. That they've always been apolitical. They don't
Right.
talk shit. They don't do anything to disrespect their oath, disrespect the people that they serve, what have you. But the time has come. You guys got to get some kind of PR thing going, because I'm kind of like fed up with you guys not standing up for yourselves.
It's tough, man. It's tough.
It's just, and another thing, one of the things that we should think about, is the fact that you guys need, when you're a cop for a while, when you're in the military, you get experience just like in life.
Right.
You get these recruits with 6 months out of training. It's just not enough. They need constant continuing education and training all the time. We got to pay these guys. We got to pay you guys more too.
Well, yeah, I appreciate that, but that's, I want more money. But the one thing, the one thing that Sapient is going to be doing probably 6 to 12 months from now, and we decided to start it with a podcast just to kind of get out there and get in people's ears and stuff, is we're going to be doing a ton of training, Guru, and we're going to be doing it for civilians, not just for police departments too. So there's going to be a ton of that stuff going on.
Yeah. I'm speaking about the larger, broader picture of being able to provide people facts. There's a lot of facts out there that are undisputable. And the thing is, I hate the fact that I have to preface things with, everybody has to preface this. I'm not a racist.
Right.
Okay? I fucking hate that.
Right.
Because you know what? One of my best friends is black. He's so black, he's fucking purple. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I love the guy like a brother. I just don't give a fuck what skin cell fucking pigment you are.
Right.
It's just, I'm so sick of that. But anyway, one of the most important things that we need to concentrate on is getting a more cohesive public perception of what you guys are up against. 2016, FBI, 22% of all violent criminals convictions were illegal immigrants.
Right.
That doesn't mean that all immigrants are bad. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that we need border security, and we need to, we have a lot of our own trash in our country that we can't get rid of. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But if we have the opportunity, we should get rid of our trash. And I'm talking about people that come here illegally, commit crimes, rape, murder, what have you. Yep. They serve their time, and you get them the fuck out. You know, the sanctuary city bullshit is beyond me, that people would want to have violent criminals unnecessarily around their parents, their community, their friends, their what have you. It doesn't make sense.
It's not based on reality, Gru. It's not based on reality. Like these people that tout this stuff and they scream at the top of their lungs about it, they're not based in reality. They have no idea.
No, they don't.
No, it's bullshit. You know, if you actually looked at the people, I mean, I've looked at it. There's, I think it's 158 people died last year from contact with police that were unarmed.
Yep.
Okay. And the amount of 158, okay, that's 158 out of billions of encounters.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you realize how good a job police do?
Yeah,
Are you kidding me? I mean, it's not even funny. And the thing is that, and it's like 14 unarmed black guys to 47 unarmed white guys.
yeah, but there's
We
a
don't
race.
have a
There's a race
problem.
problem.
No, there actually is no fucking problem. It's beautiful. It's running good. The only thing we make it better is more training, better
Right.
pay,
Right.
less hours.
Yeah. Well, hey, preach to the choir, man. Listen, one of the things that we're doing, Gru, is we're trying to get out to as many politicians as we can with this show. So if you have anybody, and I appreciate you coming on, but if you have anybody that you think needs to hear, because we're real talk here, man. There's no bullshit. You've heard our podcast. We're going to get even better. We're going to get even a little bit more raw too. So
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think you guys are doing a good job. I mean, it's something that's very important, you know, for society to realize that the media's perception is not reality.
Yeah,
If it
man.
was, I would be on the street. I would never put up with bullshit.
Yeah.
right.
From my elected or my my public servants. You kidding me?
Absolutely.
But
Well, Gru, listen, we're going to let you go because we're going to be wrapping up the show in a couple minutes.
all right,
And
man.
look, I really appreciate you taking the time. It's late at night. We really appreciate you coming on and keep the faith, brother. We love you.
All right. Enjoy talking
All
to
right.
you, man.
All right, God bless America, guys.
All right.
We'll talk.
See ya.
Awesome guy, right?
Yeah. Real good guy.
Awesome guy. And legitimately, that's one thing I didn't know. I didn't know that he tried to serve. I had no idea about that. But it was legitimately one of the guys that's in my life that's always backing me up. That's always like when there's a bad shoot, when there's a video of a shoot that goes out, he calls me and he's like, tell me about it.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what you're seeing that I'm not seeing.
Yeah. He likes to educate himself.
Exactly.
Yeah,
He wants to
exactly.
educate himself.
Exactly.
He's not doing it to, pat
No.
me on the back or anything like that.
Bobby, our friend Bobby, he's
Yeah.
the same way.
Yeah.
He'll call me about some use of force or whatever, and we'll go over the video, and he'll ask the same thing. What am I not seeing? What am I missing?
Right.
You know, but those are the questions that need to be asked by the public, by the politicians that are trying to demonize the job, the profession. Is that the question that needs to be asked is, all right, what am I not seeing?
Well, it's incumbent upon us to open their eyes.
Oh yeah,
Because they're nothing that the media is going to do is certainly going to open their eyes, right? And they're not going to listen to anybody.
No.
So it's incumbent upon us, even with Project Sapient, to make them aware.
Yeah.
To make them aware.
And well, that's the thing. They have to be aware on. I mean, it's basic physiology, basic anatomy, basic biology of
Right.
every human being, of how a human reacts under stress. I mean, that right there alone, that training alone, that Project Sapient is going to offer down the line, that is going to open eyes right there.
It's gold.
It's going to show how a human conditioned to react to stress versus a human who's not conditioned.
And it's even going to show a human conditioned to react to stress and what can go wrong with them too.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
this isn't a science.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not A plus B equals C.
Yeah.
Everything is different. Like you change the circumstances, you change the outcome.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to drill that into people's heads. We're going to drill it in. We're going to drill in the meaning of the oath.
Yes.
We're going to drill in the meaning of the encounters
Yes.
and how we deal with things and how we want to deal with things too.
Mm-hmm.
So you had told a couple of stories in the last in the last few episodes, and it was about a drunk driver and you were around your family.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So you had told that story, and we had talked about how you were under no obligation to do anything.
No. I mean, I've known cops in the past who have told me, and this was before that situation, we would always argue, what is your obligation to do anything while you're off duty? You know,
let me guess. We're not obligated to do anything.
Oh yeah. That's usually the answer I get. And again, you know, I don't want to show that it's everywhere, but
yeah.
Certain cops really feel that way, and those are, again, I'm going to go back to that 80 to 20%.
Yep.
All right, the 20% are your real oath takers, your real warrior core belief oath takers that take it seriously. And that situation with me, with that drunk driver while I was on vacation with my family, I mean, I was compelled to act.
Your core was telling you that you had to.
Yes.
Your core was telling you that you had to, because you knew that if you didn't, the chances that he was going to go out and fucking kill a family.
Yeah.
Not maliciously, I don't want to say by accident because he was shit-faced, right?
Yeah,
but you know what I mean? The chances if you didn't do anything were extraordinary.
Yeah.
And you've cried at enough kids' funerals.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I've been to enough, you know, accidents like that where, and how many times have we heard of these accidents where a cop could have done something but didn't, and you know, it depends on the decision making. And again, I'm not Monday morning quarterback, but it's always that what if. Like that what if to me is like the nightmare.
Exactly.
You know, like why didn't I do anything? Or not so much the what if, it's why didn't I do that?
But it's also part of the warrior's mindset. Right, because one of the things that we talked about is in special operations training. Yeah. Right, your ability to kind of play out and try and foresee and predict what's going to happen next. Yeah. And you don't do it to the point where it's your religion. You know, you're not gonna breach a door and make an entry. Yeah. Just based on what you think is going to happen, but you're kind of taking it into consideration. Yeah. It's that what if. Yeah. And that's the warrior's mindset coupled with the oath.
Yeah. Here's the thing: every time we breach a door, I have maybe 20, 30 scenarios that go through my head that I may encounter. Yeah. You know, and that's just the way we think.
And they're happening in an instant. They're, you know, a flash of an instant. Oh, yeah. You're playing it all out in your brain. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's that what if that sparks that. Yeah. Right. And it comes back to doing something as simply stopping a guy that's banging his car back and forth on the highway. Yeah. Yeah. Even though you're with your family.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I took my family into the condo that we were staying in, and I dealt with the situation, and you know, it was what it was. I mean, I did get challenged by that guy. He sized me up, and it would have been a fight. But again, me being compelled to act also made the public around me feel better.
Oh yeah.
You know, there was an immediate sigh of relief. Where
somebody's doing something.
Exactly. I mean, I commend the people for following him. Yep. You know, calling the police, telling them where they're at, all that stuff. But it needed that one more step to confront him.
And thank God that there was somebody like you there.
Well, I mean, if someone like me was not there, who knows what else would have happened?
That what if.
That what if.
Let me ask you a question. You carry off duty?
Oh yeah, always.
A couple extra mags.
Yeah. Extra mags, another gun in my on my ankle, and maybe I might take a broadsword with me. I don't know.
It's that warrior mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I'm a fucking Viking. That's what the public thinks.
So yeah. So it's funny because as I asked that question, I was thinking to myself, back in the day when I first got on, people around me always had a problem with me carrying, and I never told anybody, but it was always the cops here. Let's ask him, have you ever killed anybody? Yeah. Have you ever shot anybody? Do you carry a gun? Like, you know, the typical shit, right? 99% of the cops listening to this get it. Yeah. Right. And so what I've noticed is the last 5 or 6 years, nobody's asking those questions anymore.
Oh, no. They don't want to know.
Well, it's almost like maybe it's just because it's the people around me and they know what I'm capable of, but maybe they're just assuming.
Yeah. I mean, I think there is these days the assumption that most cops carry off duty. I mean,
or is it the want? Do they want me to be carrying? Do they want Iman to be carrying?
I'd say yes. I mean, with the rise and increase of the active shooter situations in malls and schools and all that, I think deep down inside, people want that protection.
Yeah.
And anytime we see an off-duty react, it's like that relief again.
Yeah.
That relief, like, oh, all right, somebody did something.
Somebody's here.
Yeah, exactly. And it's always on the oath takers to be there. I mean, again, it's that cheap mentality where, oh crap, this is happening, I need to run that way. Meanwhile, the oath takers are running where? Towards
it. Yeah. And it's even with guys in the military, right? And I know there's a distinction with guys in the military. While they're active duty, they can't operate on soil and all that, right? But even them as oath takers, there was an incident, where was it, 2-3 months ago, where there was an active duty soldier. He was driving to the base, and there was a guy up on a highway overpass or some shit. Yeah. Shooting cars driving by.
Yeah.
And this guy ran him over.
Yeah.
And it was like, he could have gotten in a lot of shit.
Oh, yeah.
But he was like, fuck that. That's my duty. It's my obligation.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with the oath. All enemies, foreign and domestic.
Absolutely.
So that's the job. That's the oath that you take.
Well, look, we're going down to the bottom of your article here. It's the last paragraph. I share this story to illustrate that some of us are never off duty. Our oath is part of our core beliefs. It is part of who we are. You see them every day. You go on and you continue saying, how many videos are out there showing off-duty cops, firemen, veterans, active duty soldiers, exactly what we just talked about, right? Marines and others springing into action without any hesitation. Even in, where was it, in Paris?
Yeah, the 3 Air Force kids.
3 Air Force kids.
Yeah.
They obliterated this dude.
Yeah.
I think with their bare hands, too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. They weren't armed. I mean, whether bare hands threw a suitcase at them or whatever, they took care of business.
That warrior ethos, that warrior mentality. We have a mission.
Yeah.
We're going to accomplish it regardless of whatever's fucking standing in front of us.
Exactly.
And you close it out. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, no, I was just thinking Marcus Aurelius, the obstacle is the way.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You close out the article. They are among the best in society because of what their core beliefs are. It's not just an oath to them. It's a way of life.
Yes.
It's a way of life for all of us.
Yep.
Right? It's a way of life whether you're at the movies with your kids. It's a way of life whether you're going to get a gallon of milk.
Yep.
It's a way of life when there's an active shooter.
Yep.
And you're going into that school to save 500 kids that you have never met in your life.
Here's the thing. To me, you can tell who the oath takers are without really... I mean, I'm not talking about the one who's got the short haircut and all that. I'm talking more the one... Again, small things compound to big things. The one who keeps the door open for you as you're going in. The one who... offers help, the one who pays attention, the one who will see a blind person get lost and then redirect them and put them in the right path. Those are inherently oath takers without realizing it, whether they serve or don't, or actually whether they don't serve, they don't realize it, but they're part of that oath-taking society.
A couple of days ago, I was saying to myself, what the fuck is going on in this world, right? Like, it's almost like we're losing it.
Mm-hmm.
But now thinking and talking with you and then thinking back, I think there's a lot more of us than we realize.
Yeah, no, there is.
And I don't think we're going to and even like Gru, he's right in a certain aspect where he's saying, we're going down that path.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to us to stop it.
Yeah.
And I think that we have enough integrity and enough of that warrior mindset to make sure that we're not going to let this country be taken from us.
Oh, no. I mean... I know plenty of veterans that are more than willing to strap on that uniform again and go.
And protect. And uphold the oath to the Constitution.
Yep.
Well, guys, listen, this episode has been amazing. This whole experience has been amazing. Sapient, again, we're going to be doing a ton of training with all kinds of things. Stress inoculation. We're going to be doing critical incident training. We're going to have the website up really soon. We're going to be putting a lot of resources on that website. There's going to be contact information for us. Listen, thank you so much for listening to us. We're going to see you next week. I'm in. Say bye.
See you later.